Hi, this is Hailey Hughes and
Hailey Baker
with Rooted in Results because Kristy is in Canada fishing with her family. So we are taking the reins today with the podcast. I guess we're going to sit down and talk a little bit about Hailey Baker's role, probably what's to come with scouting. Since I just did a scouting update last week, we probably don't need to go too much into that. Hailey can talk a little bit about what we've been finding so far with corn rootworm. And yeah, I guess we'll go from there. So Hailey, how did your role here come about?
So my parents have been buying seed from Kristy. Well, first Chuck, when Chuck still owned it. My parents bought seed from Chuck for a while. And then when Kristy took over, kept buying from Kristy. So summer year after my junior year of college, Kristy reached out and was like, hey, if you want an internship, like I'm all about the women in ag. I've had a lot of women interns over the years, so like if you're interested. So I came, interned here junior year, went back to college for my senior year. Spring break rolled around, Kristy called, was like, hey, have you found a full-time job yet for when you graduate? I'm like, no, still kind of looking. She's like, well, if you want to even just intern for the summer, like I'm always looking for interns, and if you want to do full time, like that'd be great too. Mm-hmm. So I interned, and here I am 3 years later.
Still a full-time employee.
Full-time employee now.
Has your role over the course of your time from being an intern to now, like has that changed? How has that changed?
Yeah, so I'd say when I first interned junior year, Kristy was kind of in that in-between phase of taking over from Chuck and still learning what she was, the roles of Compass and having interns and all that. So Amber and I really kind of took the lead of going out and doing stuff in the field. But that's pretty much all we did was just scout. Then when I became full-time, it was like, okay, well now she's here for more than just the summer. Like we got to find more things for her to do. So I have quite a few roles, I'd say. I treat all of our beans. Then during the summer months, I'm scouting and washing boxes and stuff around the office. Then in the winter, I'm kind of helping with office stuff, whatever needs to be done, research, plot, book, all the analyzing of stuff, and then start back over come the spring when I treat again.
And the chaos.
It's just kind of whatever she needs help with. I don't really have one certain role. I just kind of have multiple roles depending on the season.
Yeah, cool. So what does treating beans all entail? I know nothing about it. I'm hardly back in the warehouse. So.
It's a process. So we've got bulk beans or they come in boxes. So it depends on if I'm pulling out of the bin or if I'm pulling out of the boxes. But basically you're just dumping the untreated bean into the drum, pulling it through the treater, letting it get treated, coated with the channelized treatment that we do. The levo if you want levo for sudden death, and an inoculant if you want that, and then put it back into the box. And we like to make sure nothing's gonna plug the planter when the customer gets it. So
that makes sense.
Because otherwise the customer is gonna probably come back to us and be like, oh,
what's going on?
Like I had planter issues because the seed was all
clumpy or whatever.
Clumped up, so we like to make sure we use chicken wire and screen it through and make sure the treatment's all nice and dry, make sure they're individualized, not clumped in where it's going to cause any issues. So we try to do a thorough job of treating and it's a whole process. We start from the untreated to treated to back into the box a couple times and out the door they go.
Do most of our growers have their beans treated, or is it just I guess how do they decide that? I mean, you're involved in that process, what they want.
Yeah, I'd say we're 75% that treat and then 25% that just don't mess with it. So then if it's a number that happens to be in the bulk bin, I just pull it through untreated and we send them out.
Just do it. Nice.
Cool. Yeah, we'll do if it's a good day, if I get in the flow of treating and it's nice outside and the beans are drying pretty good, I can do 600-700 units a day.
Nice.
So.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. Look at you go. Hailey's such a hard worker. She's always finding something to do, and she's good at checking off lists and getting the things done that need done. So, yeah. Where do you think we're at this year with like scouting and like what have we seen so far with corn rootworm? I know we've only been doing root digs for a couple of days now, but
Yeah, we haven't really found a lot of larvae yet. We've had a couple fields where we found 5 to 7, which still isn't bad, so we're still early on. And so it'll be interesting to keep watching these fields and seeing how many more we find as we get later into the season.
yeah, I think for sure, especially since we're in that high risk area.
Yeah, especially when you get to your 6, 7, 8 years of corn on corn, those really tend to be susceptible to corn rootworm and lodging, and sometimes even you get a strong wind just because the stalk's already weak and then the wind comes in and there's a lot of things can.
Yeah, we just had that problem yesterday where Hailey was in the field and she's like, they saw some lodging, and then it was like, okay, well, it could be because it was a corn on corn field, right?
Yeah, it was like fifth year corn on corn.
Fifth year corn on corn. And it's like, okay, well, we've had high winds, we've had nothing but rain, and so the roots really haven't had a chance to anchor very well, and then it's also like this is a corn on corn field, so we're like kind of going back and forth talking about like what could the problem be, and we just kind of had to deduce, and then really it was like, we were kind of, I think, both expecting to have some larvae flow, and there was none.
We didn't find any.
And we kind of kept going back and looking, and there just wasn't anything in there. So we were able to kind of determine that it was likely wind and lack of. Is that the field you were able to just grab the? Yeah, they were just able to grab the corn stalk out of the ground with the root ball. Yeah, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, the weather this year has been a little bit different. It's kind of pushed us back a little bit, and the corn's grown fast, and so
your early planted April fields are shoulder high or taller already.
Like I don't know how tall is your sister?
6 foot.
Okay, so Casey's maybe just under that?
Yeah,
so they're right at their shoulder. Casey was almost covered, so probably about 6 foot almost, which is just crazy.
Tall
yeah, way different from the knee high by the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Technology's changed a little bit since then, I suppose. But yeah, dang. Well, how do you feel like being like a woman in ag? Like, what are some challenges? What are some things that are cool? Like, you've had to overcome a lot, I'm sure, because like there's probably like a preconception of like a woman being in agriculture. Like, do you feel like you've had to earn respect, or do you think people gave it to you right away? How do you feel like you've had to navigate that?
I feel like I've been fortunate with our customers just because Kristy already had a pretty good relationship with them, and she's a woman in ag, so I feel like I've been fortunate that the customers just kind of have good relationships with me, and like I'll get calls from customers all the time where some of the customers will call me before Kristy and be like, hey, like I see this in the field, can you come check it out? So like I feel, for us anyway, the customer base we have has been pretty trusting. But
because she earned that trust kind of for everyone.
Since Kristy kind of set that foundation for all of us here.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it's been kind of fun this year, especially with the new technology that we've had and everything, and just like getting out there on social media more about like what we're doing and the in-depth scouting that we're doing. There's a lot of people who are, aren't even necessarily some of our growers yet that are seeing that are concerned, or we have a lot of our growers that are coming to us with more problems, or like, hey, can you go out there and check on this? And so I think that it's kind of an exciting thing to see, just kind of coming in, and it was probably like that before too, but it's exciting for me to see the like, oh hey, or like having a grower call me and being like, hey, I need you to check this out. It's like kind of makes you feel like good, like they do trust you, or they want your opinion and things like that. And so I mean, like I grew up in this community, and I know a lot of our growers pretty well, but it still is one of those things where my parents didn't farm, so like I kind of have an ag background, and then I have the science background, but I didn't grow up on a farm. And so I I just don't, like there could be some like misconceptions and things like that there.
Yeah, and I knew a couple of our customers, but not a lot just because I'm a little farther south than this community. But we do have a few other growers that direction, so I knew them from like our county fair, and my dad's been a customer, so I knew a few, but I had to learn quite a few new people.
Here too.
Here, yeah. So it took probably like a year and a half for people to really get to know me, but once they knew who I was and stuff, now they feel comfortable calling me if they know Kristy's not around.
So cool. Yeah. What are our next steps, I guess? Like, what are some things you're looking out for when you're out in the fields? I mean, we know like pests and disease and things like that, but you've come back with like a lot of pictures of insects. I think we're kind of really digging into some of that, like what is this specifically, or I don't know. What's the next step?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
I mean, we'll obviously keep doing root digs, and we'll keep looking for corn rootworms because that's more of the concern for pests anyway. And then obviously we're getting close to tar spot, so keeping an eye out on tar spot and when it gets here. And
yeah, and I'm still learning. Hailey had to like go back to a field for me because I was like, oh my gosh, what did I find? Then it was probably some feces or something from an insect, but in my defense, I did rub it and I couldn't get it off. But like Hailey said, or you can say it, that even if it was like
it would be one small lesion. I'm probably below the ear leaf still, so nothing to be. Oh, I gotta go spray my field right now.
Yeah. We did find something interesting, and although it was a little bit about a low amount or occurrence of larvae, we did find 5 on a corn and then soybean and then corn this year, part of a field. And so I think that's really interesting. I started digging into like, wait a minute, it's like less likely, but we do have like the northern corn rootworm and stuff. I was really digging into some of the research papers and stuff that like Dr. Gossman down at Iowa State has put out about like the resistance, and so I just thought that was interesting that we found that, and then I started to dig into it and I was like, oh, that's actually like a thing. It still is a good management tactic, but it's just crazy how much things are like
because I'd say last year already we just a small amount saw some extended diapause, and like, okay, we gotta not necessarily just look at corn on corn, but it could potentially be soybeans.
It's just interesting, how quickly things can kind of evolve and change, and so cool. What are you excited for this next year? Anything? How do you think we're going to grow this next year? Like, what do you think is a good goal for maybe us as like a team, or I don't know, personally yourself, or just like scouting next year? I think that maybe, at least on my end, I think like going through and being here for a year and kind of soaking up like your knowledge, Kristy's knowledge, and then the agronomist Paul Parcher's knowledge. Like, I think we're going to have a really good plan. I don't know. I'm excited about like having a solid plan a little bit. We're organized, but I think like having more of a...
It just took a little bit for us to get to that point, everybody learning their...
Especially since we're like mid-season.
You jumped in and you were like doing plots, and you were just like, I don't think I sat down and like introduced myself for like a week. I was just like, I would see you and be off somewhere, and then you finally got a rain name, like, okay, let's
Hi, we'll just talk.
I'm Hailey. I know you've been here a week, but here I am.
Yeah, like May 12th, I think was my first day or something like that. And you're still like, people were still planting, and then we had replants, and then plots were still going in, and then
a lot going on.
Trying to scout, and a lot going on.
But so we got there, just took a little bit to get our plan together and introduce each other, and
I think that's what like I'm most excited about is just having like a solid plan, and also being a part of like growers planning this fall, because I think we're going to be able to have a better, at least I'll have a better hold on like you and Kristy know what's out there, but like I'll have a better understanding of what's out there and like why the growers choosing to do what they're doing. And I think that will help us like bring the story together, and maybe also when we're like in that scouting phase, have you guys like be able to go to you and the interns and be like, okay, this is like here's some specifics or whatever. You know what I mean? I just think we'll be able to maybe collaborate a little bit better.
And that comes over time because it took me probably 1 or 2 years before I finally, you just go out and you learn the hybrids and you learn the soil types of the different customers and you know what works for one customer versus a different customer. And it's really just going out there and seeing it for yourself, and then you just kind of learn and feel comfortable, and then
it doesn't matter what degree or how you do it, because it's
really
all
about
about
the
in-field experience.
in-field.
It really is about that. And just
I really didn't know anything about any of the different hybrids, but just going out scouting, I just kind of started to learn, like, oh, this does good on this type of ground, or this is good for sandy soil, or this is good if it's a drought year. Like, you just kind of being out and seeing it for yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I think we're just against so many different things too, because it's like we have so many abiotic factors that we're like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, how do we deduce like what's actually going on, you know? So we're always learning, that's for sure. But
I'm also excited to have you help me treat beans next year, so I don't have to do all the treating by myself.
I'll be happy to help you treat beans, Hailey. I
get into the groove and like it's fine, but I have another person, you know, so I don't have to do all this walking back and forth to the forklift and doing the treater and the forklift and the dump bin. And
yes. I know, you were showing me how to empty beans, and she's like just so comfortable back there in the warehouse, like pushing all these buttons, and she's like, okay, and I'm like, I'm gonna mess something up. I will so mess something up. I don't think that it's probably like rocket science, but you have to know what you're doing. So she was showing me in a very good way, but I was like, I'm gonna miss a step and I'm gonna mess something up, or I'm gonna literally load an entire box, like, and it's gonna be on the ground. So we ended up working that out, but I'll be excited to learn, so that way I think that what I love about this job is that A, everything's different, but B, there's quite a few things, but B is that we all work really well together, but C is that like we also are very versatile, you know, like I'm primarily in the office, but you know, because today's a rain day and we've only had 2 days of scouting this week, I have some stuff I can go back and do, but because of the way that today is, and just we need to get boxes washed, so I'm going to go back there and wash boxes. So I really enjoy that I'm able to
it's
like
not,
I enjoy manual labor
every single day. Like, you have your seasons, and that's what I enjoy about it. Like, I'm not stuck in the office all day every day. It's during the spring I'm treating, and then we're out in the fields doing plots and scouting, and then like it changes on the season, so kind of keeps you doing different things and not getting bored because you're doing the same thing all the time. Like, you're kind of constantly doing different things.
I think that's where it's like fulfilling for me too, is because like I have that drive to like know more and blah blah blah, like all this stuff, and learn and like solve problems and help people. So that's like packaged in one area, but then there's also this side where it's like I like to be outside. I like to sometimes I like to get dirty a lot. Yesterday I come back with like mud all the way up to my knees basically, because then shoes fell off. I was not wearing proper footwear, and I went to go do it anyways. So I like to get dirty, but I also like to do some of that manual labor. So I think that this just kind of wraps that up. And like for you, you like to like go collect data, but you don't want to like analyze it, and that's where I'm like,
I'll go collect it, and then I'm like, okay, your turn, Hailey. I did my part.
Okay, here's the information. All right, I think we're gonna go wash boxes, and enjoy what little bit of rain we don't have. We're getting ready for Channel Fest, so that's exciting. And I'll just put a plug out there. Channel Fest is not like come buy our seed or anything like that. Like, if you're a channel customer, you're welcome to come, bring your family, go to your local channel seed dealer, and get wristbands. There's t-shirts that order is due July 7th. You need a wristband to get in, and it's really just an event that channel is putting on to say thank you and just show like some customer appreciation. So that's what that is. It's on August 21st at the Grundy County Fairgrounds in Iowa, just south of Parkersburg, where we're at. Cool. Okay. Well, I guess we'll probably update you again when it's probably end of the season we'll do something, or maybe another mid-season thing, but we'll have you back on. Or if you're seeing something that you're really concerned about. Right? I don't know. Okay, well, have a good day, everyone.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.